Another week in the heat and another W for the Sun Devils. Hello, everyone. Welcome into the house here on houseofsparky.com. He's Austin Burnett. I'm Scotty Gange, and episode 3 here in our newly minted studios. Austin, crazy weekend for NCAA football, Pac-12 football especially, but we got to talk some Sun Devils.
Yeah, Arizona State upsetting number 15 Michigan State. And speaking of that game, let's get to the highlights.
Okay. We all know that Brandon Ruiz is a hashtag hometown hero and walked it off with a field goal. The Devils are in the top 25, the Herm haters are fading away, and the so-called train is filling up fast. But what would you say if I told you before Saturday's game that the Sun Devils would be down by 10 in the fourth? Probably something along the lines of, this might have been too big of a test for this young Sun Devil team, or I just don't think Herm's quite ready yet. Turn the clock back to a struggling offensive unit that just could not string quality plays together, down 2 scores. But as we all know today, the Devils were hungry, and they didn't give up. A field goal followed by a few defensive stops set up the perfect moment to tie the game. N'Keal Harry did N'Keal Harry things, leaping over Michigan State's Justin Lane. Boom, 13 up. The next 8 minutes felt like an eternity, but the Gonzo defense stood tall, making the right plays when they needed to be made. And Wilkins and company took over the 4 minutes and 55 seconds remaining. The Spartans wasted their timeouts, and Edwards had no doubt in his mind. Torched that clock. And I think we all know how that turned out. So that Brandon Ruiz field goal was definitely a pro Saturday night. And now we're going to go break things down for our pros and cons. So Austin, I'm going to give you the pros. You can't use the Brandon Ruiz field goal. I already used it. But I'm going to start with a con. So the first one for me is the offense Saturday night. I just think that they struggled immensely. Manny Wilkins was missing throws, coming off of 49 points to score just no points in the first half and 3 points up until the first 3 quarters. The offense really was scary for the first 3 quarters. They were able to bounce back, but definitely a con throughout the entirety of that game.
Yeah, definitely something they do need. Brandon Ruiz kick to win the game.
Yeah, you used it. I said not to, but you did use it.
I mentioned it a little bit.
But I'm going to go for a con here. It's a possibility of a hangover in San Diego. Last year, the Sun Devils lost 30-20 in Tempe. Of course, it was the Rashad Penny show. He returned a kick, had a long run. But I do think that the Sun Devils being in the top 25, there's a pretty good chance that they're going to have a hangover and drop a game that they should win in San Diego.
Yeah, my final pro.
It's hard to be the new kid in school. It's even harder when you move to a new state, where everything is different and just a little uncomfortable. For freshman linebacker Merlin Robertson, that is just the tip of the iceberg. The freshman has been rotating with the linebacker #1 unit ever since he stepped foot in Tempe. Robertson started game 1 for the Sun Devils and recorded 2 tackles. A good and predictable start for a young talent. But in what could be one of the Sun Devils' toughest tests of the season, Robertson came for smoke. He recorded 9 total tackles, 7 of those in the second half, 1.5 sacks, a forced fumble, and a timely pass breakup. He propelled the young Arizona State defense, being a key component to their bend but don't break attitude. For his efforts, Robertson was named the Walter Camp National Defensive Player of the Week, the first time for a Sun Devil defenseman ever. The Devils are a top 25 team, and the freshman's second half performance is a big part of that. And that's why Merlin Robertson is our feel-good story of the week.
All the way to the house.
That's what you call a dagger right there, Austin. But here's a better one for you. Steven Montez, 40-yard pass to Laviska Shenault. Comes down with it. Gets the win for the Buffaloes at Nebraska. 33-28 final score. Laviska Shenault. Good enough for our Pac-12 play of the week's 33-28 Buffaloes. Sun Devils not the only team in the Pac-12 to get a huge major out-of-conference win. We saw right there Colorado over Nebraska. Laviska Shenault, the play of the week. I also have to say the name of the week, Laviska. I just love that.
Hard to pronounce.